it wasn't funny because I didn't enjoy it at all. But the amount of people that tried to take a victory lap on Dillon Gabriel, like 2 series into that game, only for him to end up having what I would say is a serviceable game, but a fine game. I don't know, like, the specific adjective you want to use.
I think fine is okay.
But, like, I thought, the best compliment I can give Dillon Gabriel is he was better than Joe Flacco, and the offense was serviceable yesterday. That is a step in the right direction. We don't have to crown him based off what we actually saw yesterday.
I do think a lot of people did what you are suggesting there, where after the, let's say, midway through the third quarter, or after that drive in the third quarter, they just said, okay, he played good enough. That's all I need to see. Meanwhile, the fourth quarter was where all the problems actually happened. 1 first down the entire fourth quarter, and he himself just wasn't good enough.
Well, and here's the thing. So I think the biggest feather in the cap, even though he had turnover-worthy plays, no turnovers. That is huge. Like, for all the other little stuff that happened, all the ticky-tack stuff on offense, just not getting it done, no turnovers is huge. That's a great step in the right direction. Now, 3 and 15 on third down, and you got 17 points on the best field position you've had all season long. There were countless times where you got the ball at midfield or where you got the ball at the 35. I would dare say you got better field position in that one game than Joe Flacco has gotten all year.
That's fair.
To then only get 17 points, it's a step in the right direction. You need at least 1 or 2 more steps in the new direction, though.
Well, look at this fourth quarter. So first drive, 3 plays, 9 yards, minute 51, punt. Second drive, 3 plays, 4 yards, minute 37, punt. I'm doing the clock with the time for a reason. 2:43 was the next one, and then 22 seconds up until the end of game 1 that was 25 seconds. Like, there was no extended drives here. There was no length to these drives. I kept looking up and being like, man, that happened really quick. Like, blink of a snap of a finger, and then it's gone. Whereas at least with Flacco, and I'm not saying that he was anything like Flacco was all-time bad in the stretch that he was here. He was. It's just how it is. But Flacco, you'd have 8-9 minute drives at least. This one, you had to quickly turn around. This is how you lose the defense.
Yeah, and so what I think is really interesting is when he was getting early on, he was getting 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. He was able to make, I don't want to say conversions because they ended up having to go for it on 4th down 3 times. And I want to say 2 of the 3 were in the first half. But when he was getting 3rd and manageable, he did his job. Right? He gave you a chance. The problem is when 3rd and manageable became 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5, that's when you really started to see those punts that you're talking about. And that's like, if it's 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8, which is predominantly where Joe was working out of for most of the time because it took a minute for the run game to get going and the short pass game to get going. Okay, I can forgive any quarterback if you're not consistently generating first downs on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. Where's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5? You should be getting those at least 50% of the time. Okay, that's not fair. You should be getting them at least 33% of the time, and they did not. They just weren't generating any third downs into first downs in that fourth quarter.
And people wonder why the defense was just absolutely gassed and didn't have a chance against a backup quarterback and a journeyman in Carson Wentz. It's like, well, look at it. Every play you had in that fourth quarter, every one of them was inside 3 minutes long.
So I've said serviceable.
Yeah, I think serviceable is, I want to say fine. I maybe even, is there a word that is better than fine, but not as good as good? Is there like an in-between of good and fine that we can kind of...
I was thinking food, but I'm always thinking food.
You're thinking food?
Yeah. Well, fine, F, good, food.
I don't know that my dictionary has anything in between fine and good.
No?
I think we might have to come up with... We just make up a word in between fine and good. And
wait.
That's actually...
Fine.
We can call it the Dillon Gabriel.
Fine. Wait, is this like the Dillon Gabriel demarcator line? Is that where we're going?
You got to come up with your own terminology. Like for years when I've tried to get the Guardians broadcast to go ahead and announce that a broken bat single up the middle is called a Jonathan Peterlin, I've announced that the broken bat single up the middle is a Jonathan Peterlin.
What about quality? No, it sounds too good.
Sounds too good.
Yeah.
Like you put quality in front of a business that you're selling, you're like, oh,
hey, but
that's pretty. That's dynamic.
That was the most middle of the road, though, because here are the other synonyms for fine.
Okay.
Excellent, first class, first rate.
Fine is not a synonym for excellent.
Great, exceptional.
Dictionary.com is lying to you right now.
Well, it's actually just Google. Outstanding, admirable, superior, splendid, magnificent, beautiful, exquisite, choice.
I think they're thinking like, that's fine.
Like you're fine.
Like you fine. Exactly right. I think they're thinking like,
the problem is
fine.
The second one is thin, light, delicate, wispy. Ooh,
Wispy.
He had a wispy performance. That's really insulting.
Like 1925.
That's going right back to Timu Tua. That is not okay. What was the other word? You said good.
Yeah, it's between fine and good. It's between fine and good. Somewhere in there. I'm just called Dillon Gabriel.
By the way,
is it the same synonyms?
Fine.
Yeah.
It's the first synonym.
This is why this is hard to find somewhere in between, I guess.
Quality, superior, satisfactory.
For some reason, my brain doesn't want to go to just fine either. My brain doesn't want to go to good.
Acceptable?
Hey, I know it lives somewhere in the middle. Acceptable.
What about adequate? I'm doing the Trump hands for you on YouTube.
I like acceptable, though. Acceptable seems like the right spot between fine and good, because acceptable doesn't mean that I'm heaping praise on it. But acceptable also means I'm not throwing it down and saying it was the worst thing I've ever seen. And that's where I lie within this Dillon Gabriel game. I didn't think it was a bad game. I also was not wowed. I didn't leave being like, we got our franchise quarterback. Let's call it. Like, no, it's somewhere in between. Acceptable is the right term.
I kind of like adequate, right? Like most days of life, if I get through at the end, I'm like, I did adequately today. I feel accomplished.
That's good.
Right?
Okay.
I didn't drive the car into the bridge embankment. All right? We landed the plane.
You have to have a 100% success rate on achieving that in order for that to be anything short of impressive. Like if you
be adequate 100% of the time.
No. If you drive your truck into the embankment just once. Like people think like, oh, geez, 99% rate on that. I'm really good. It's like, no, the 1% you didn't makes you really bad at this.
That's not great.
Makes you really bad at this.
Because it didn't move. You were the moving thing. This organization has normalized bad offense in a way that it's like yesterday when there was like, they scored 17 points. There was a part of me that's like, what a win.
Yeah, like I felt bad.
Like you got to 17 points after the last couple weeks. I was just, hey, I saw 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
like that's.
It's funny you say that because I have to keep reminding myself like 17 points it'd be dead last in the NFL every single year.
Well, but they've just done it.
That's what that is.
They've done it in so many different ways, and they've made excuses, and they've had people make excuses for them that they've built relationships with in the media for so many different ways that it's like, Kevin gets this credit as this offensive mastermind, and it's like he's never run a good offense. He's run one good offense, one top 10 scoring offense,
right? And it was number 10.
It was buoyed by the last 5 weeks of Joe Flacco in 2023.
Yeah,
all the rest of them have been middle of the road at best.
You know what's sad is that I can tell which Browns fans do and don't watch national games, like other NFL teams' games. Like Jim was talking about the different games that he watches. Yeah. It's so obvious to tell because you watch some really what we think mediocre quarterbacks, and I watch some of these throws that they make, and I'm like, if any Browns quarterback did this, we'd lose our mind. And it's just a 25-yard throw. It's not. There's nothing spectacular about it. But we'd be like, this is incredible. And it's like that's how desensitized we are to good, actual quality quarterback play. We haven't seen it in so long.
Keep jumping you. Sorry. Okay. I'm just happy to have you back. 216-474-0092. What adjective are we using on Dillon Gabriel? Let's all get on the same path on this one. I think Dillon Gabriel being able to get the ball out quick was evident. I do think his mobility was evident. So even though I've said adequate, you've said acceptable, we've got about 75 fines there on the YouTube chat comment. Again, if you haven't been over there, make sure to check us out as we debut the entire show on YouTube today. I hopped into the chat. Just because I didn't know
Did you comment?
I did, but it was like the oldest dude. I was like, "Hey guys, what does this mean?" It was great.
What's
real
up,
cool?
What's up, young guys?
Yeah, what's up, youth?
Youth? What did you say? Yeah. What was your comment?
Somebody made a reference to a troll. Like there's like a known troll on the YouTube thing. I was like, "Who's that?" I'm just a noob. All right, I just feel like a real dork right now. However, I do think Matthew on Twitter pointed out something, and Nick Wilson says, that I really do think is where you and I, it's a little early for this victory lap, but it's something that you and I have been on top of, and why we're probably not as pissed as maybe a lot of other people are today. Mm-hmm. He said, why does everyone sound surprised with how bad this team is? Bad players, bad coaching, vanilla offense, bad front office. It's a bad organization top to bottom. Some of this to me there's a little hyperbole in there, but from the jump last year, coming off 3-14, I looked at the quarterback landscape and said, well, you're not getting that much better this year. This is the poison pill. This year's the poison pill for the Deshaun debacle. And then you were right there with me. And so while it's interesting to watch fans or media analysts or whoever have kind of turn on Kevin and maybe the organization, like, I'm still surprised how upset I'm getting during the games while this is happening. Mm-hmm. But this is the prophecy fulfilled of I Was Right radio of this is what I thought it would look like. I just didn't know it was going to upset me as much as it does actually during games.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 6 years. Like this isn't. He's not brand new, and this isn't the. But for the first time for a lot of people, the 6-year mark into this now is the time where they're starting to give up, and I think that's the part that is hurting people the most. The idea that they actually believe Stefanski was the guy. Now, listen, I want to make sure we make this abundantly clear too. For the people that love Stefanski, I don't know. Do you think we're going to have a point of this season where he gets some sort of redemption, where he gets some sort of because this stuff always it ebbs and it flows. It always works this way with sports. It just always tends to where you have a spot where it seems like today he's getting absolutely buried, and then you look at the schedule and you see. I mean, there's a really easy stretch coming up here after this Pittsburgh game where you could start to look like maybe the tide has turned a little bit. Will these Stefanski supporters have their day again, or will we just never have one of those again with Stefanski?
No, I think it is coming. Yeah, because I do expect them to win 1 or 2 more games in that middle of the stretch there with the Jets, the Dolphins, and you mentioned the Raiders. Like, I do expect there to be a stretch where you go 2-1 in 3 games, and then a lot of people go, see, I told you he wasn't booty cheeks. It's like, it's a long season, and you're having a lot of problems that should have been worked out by now, and they're not being worked out, be it penalties, be it the roster issues at left tackle specifically, age on the offensive line. Like, and by the way, the front 4 is dominant, and we have not mentioned Alex Wright, his name today, and that is a failure on my part because Alex Wright was incredible.
McGuire was fantastic,
except in the run early, which Jake Volnick pointed out, and then the very next play, Isaiah McGuire made a great play setting the edge, and it was like he did that just because he saw Jake tweeted. But
Jake tweeted out about how bad Isaiah McGuire was.
Well, yeah, because he can be a liability, especially on toss play, setting the edge, and it had happened, and then the second Jake tweeted it out, I saw Isaiah set the edge on a great stop for a TFL, and it was like, what game is Jake watching?
PFF had him as a 91 run defense grade, and that's the highest of any single total thing that PFF had yesterday for the Browns. How about that?
I'm no longer trusting PFF after that because there were some moments. But
how about Malik Collins? Had some good PFF numbers as well.
Let's just be square here. So it's an elite front 4.
Not as great for Mason Graham yesterday out of PFF.
Yeah, I didn't think he was great yesterday against going up against.
He just didn't really get his name called.
Yeah,
like I didn't pay attention to him much, and usually that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to see more, especially with Carson Wentz. You'd like to see more pocket collapsing up the middle because it makes Miles' job easier. Now, in fairness,
I mean, they graded him out as if he was just awful yesterday.
In fairness,
wow,
Kevin O'Connell did an incredible job kind of mitigating the Browns' speed very early on, and I think that did offset some of the defensive line success you've had. But again, elite defensive line. The back 7 has holes in it. So this whole idea of, well, you've got a great defense. I think you have a great defensive line. I think you've got a potentially great middle linebacker. Mm-hmm. I think Denzel's normally really good. The safeties are still a work in progress. Greg Newsome is still hit or miss. Like, I do think we should pump the brakes on this as an elite defense as opposed to it's an elite defensive line.
That's very fair. Yeah, I think when it all washes out, it'll probably end up being somewhere around like 8 to 10 defense in the NFL.
Well, and here's the thing.
Still really, it's good.
This is where keeping the defense in it matters because the defense was pretty decent to start last year, and they gave you a chance to lose a lot, to win a lot of games. And then the offense just kept losing games for you. And by the time that Jameis took over, they were too injured, too ill-fitting, and they just didn't have the pieces to have the defense they did the year before.
Right.
A lot of that was because you just didn't win enough early in the season, and Kevin's not the guy that's going to raise the troops, right? That's the formula that's playing out right now, just with a much better defensive line.
Well, and the hard part, too, is that we know, defenses tend to look better than offenses early on, and everyone's well-rested, and that's just the reality this team has right now.
There's just no defending where you are. And now it becomes from here, how much can you pull the nose up on it? Pittsburgh I don't know that I have a lot of faith they're going to have a a great performance against Pittsburgh. I don't. But, all right, pull the nose up on the thing. Like if you are a good coach offensively or a good head coach, well, you're 1-4. So is Cincinnati and so is Baltimore. I guarantee you by the end of the season, at least one of those teams is going to have more than one season or more than one win.
Yeah. We were trying to figure out where exactly we lie with Dillon Gabriel and grading out the game or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think having that call that we just had where he wanted to wonder why they didn't take Will Howard, that's where I draw the line. I'm not defending Dillon Gabriel's game to the high heavens. I'm not. But, we don't get that call after that game.
In fairness, Will was a third-round pick, should have been a sixth-round pick. Dillon was a third-round pick, should have been a sixth-round pick. Will was, properly drafted in the sixth round.
Listen, they didn't ask him to do much, but from just a pure productivity standpoint, has Cam Ward had a game that Dillon had yesterday?
He had a touchdown yesterday. He got a win.
He did have a touchdown, but as in the cumulative, I don't think he's had a passer rating that has reached anywhere close to the 94 that Dillon Gabriel had yesterday.
That high?
It was in the 90s. Yeah, for sure.
That's in that. I've already denigrated PFF. That's probably also why I don't think much of passer rating.
Yeah, you're not much of a passer rating guy, and I understand that. I get it.